A month before my breakthrough in trading, I felt like stopping. And I don't mean taking a short break. I genuinely felt like I was done. I had already spent over 2 years trying to be profitable. I had a mentor. I had access to information that most traders dreamed of. My mentor also worked at a prop firm, so I had access to so much funded accounts that even when I blew them, he would give me more for free. I was getting opportunity after opportunity, and somehow I still managed to find a way to blow all of them. But one thing that I didn't know then was that I was 1 month away from everything finally starting to make sense. And had I quit during that moment, I probably wouldn't be here in front of you guys showing you what I have learned to stay profitable over the years. The sad reality is that when people see somebody teaching others, buying cars, traveling, taking withdrawals, they see the finished product. They don't see the days where that person stared at the charts and wondered whether trading was something that was even for them. They do not see the days when that person looked at the charts and wondered whether they were simply not meant to be a trader. That was me, about the day that I almost thought about quitting trading. It is about the day I almost quit trading for good. I started trading almost as soon as I turned into a teenager. And when I started, I thought that success would come quickly. I thought that if I just learned the same strategy that my mentor was trading, I would just see the same profits that he did. I thought there was one setup, one mentor, and one secret strategy that does all the work for you. And because I had a mentor who understood the markets and worked at a prop firm, I had more opportunities than most traders ever receive. He gave me advice, he showed me what I was doing wrong, and he helped me get free access to new accounts. There were literally times where I would blow a funded account and the next day I'd receive another one for free. Prop firm accounts that I could have made money on starting off in my first year, in my first few months. Most traders would think that's the perfect situation, but more opportunity does not fix a lack of discipline. Free accounts did not make me a better trader. In fact, they actually reinforced some of the reasons why I was failing. They made those bad habits stronger. And that's because I did not respect the opportunity. If I lost an account, I had already accepted the reality that I would be handed another one. If I was down one day, I knew I could just force a trade and try to make it back, because if I blew the account, there was no consequence. I didn't pay for that. I didn't put my money up front. It was a free account. I was greedy, I was emotional, and I was constantly trying to prove to the market that I was a profitable trader. I wasn't actually trying to get better. I was just trying to prove to the market that what I had already knew was enough for me to be a profitable trader. Instead of mastering one concept, I kept trying to learn everything. And every time I took a loss, I would jump from this concept to this concept. I would always question the system. One week, I thought I had finally discovered the secret answer. And the next week, I was trading something completely different. I definitely knew a lot about trading, but I was not good at trading. And that right there is a massive difference. It was easier for me to buy or receive another account than to learn the discipline to actually protect the ones that I had. And after almost 2 years of repeating this cycle, I started to get exhausted. Trading had started to show me that I wasn't able to grow in this field, that I wasn't able to develop myself to be profitable as a trader. I would constantly tell myself, this time would be different, this account I'm going to take seriously. And I would just keep doing the same things over and over again. And eventually, I remember thinking, maybe I should just stop. Maybe I should take a break, or maybe I should just not pursue this. Like, this was a time where I'm early on as a teenager and I'm still bound to go to university. I'm still bound to graduate from high school. I had always been a straight A student. I'd be getting 4.0 GPAs. I got an amazing scholarship opportunity, and I had a backup plan. I was going into university for computer science. And so that backup plan allowed me to think for good that I was just going to stop, because this was just statistically thinking about it. I was on the losing side of the statistic, that there's a certain percent of traders that fail, and I was on that percentage of traders. And the thought had hurt because I saw the potential with trading. I saw the freedom that I could have had. But seeing the potential and being able to reach that potential are two completely different things. The turning point for me was not discovering a different strategy. It was actually taking a look at my performance. My performance showed me that every time I had a losing streak that was like straight up like 3 losing days in a row, I would just switch my strategy. I would go move to the next concept that I learned from ICT and switch that. I would be trading every single session of the day. And as a beginner, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You want to absorb as much information as possible. But I was doing this to try to make money, not to learn. I was doing this to try to pass these accounts. So I didn't need another account. I didn't need a different strategy. I needed rules that I would follow, a system that I would follow no matter how many losing days I had. Because it wasn't the losing days that was a reflection of my strategy. The losing days was a reflection of my inability to stay disciplined, to stick to one session. And so I simplified everything. I stuck to one session, I stuck to one pair, I stuck to one time in that session, and I maintained my level of risk. These things finally helped me to stick to the system, and that's when I finally realized it wasn't anything to do with my system. It was the fact that I kept jumping from system to system that I had forgot the most important part, that I didn't even see the real reason why I was failing, and that was because of my psychology. Think about it, guys. If you lose a few times in a row and you switch to the next strategy, you are missing the point because you're at the surface level. You're up here. But there's a whole iceberg below the ocean, the whole iceberg of psychological reasons why you're failing. Your emotions, your inability to manage your risk. It was the moment that I had stuck to what I had learned. I had stuck to it. I had created a system because previously, this whole time, I had learned all this information, but I wasn't able to put it into one system. I would bounce from this area of ICT into this area of ICT. I would trade liquidity, then I would move into fair value gaps. I would move from fair value gaps into order blocks, into breaker blocks, and I kept jumping around. The moment that I created a system that I followed every single day is when I finally got profitable, when I finally funded that account. And from that point on, I had made it. And the reason why I was able to profitably stay consistent after that is because I had spent 2 years learning this stuff. 2 years. I had so much information, and my only point of failure was literally not being able to organize this information, not being able to put it together in one piece, into one system. And so approximately 1 month after I considered quitting, I finally started to experience the breakthrough. It wasn't because somebody else gave me a secret, and it definitely wasn't because I stopped taking losses. I started becoming profitable because my behavior became consistent. I was the inconsistent variable. And that month proved something to me that I still believe to this day. You can be much closer to your breakthrough than you realize. The difficult part in that progress is that trading is often invisible until it becomes visible. You might spend months learning lessons without them reflecting into your account. You might feel like nothing is changing at the moment, but underneath the surface, your eyes are building pattern recognition. You are becoming more aware of your emotions. You are learning which mistakes you keep repeating, and the breakthrough happens when you finally stop ignoring these lessons. And if you're finally ready to stop treating trading like gambling and start building that experience on a live account, the broker I personally use is linked down below. Start with an amount that you can genuinely afford to lose. The goal isn't to deposit money and become rich overnight. The goal is to learn how to execute properly, how to manage your emotions, and treat every trading decision like a business decision. Do not confuse this moment that you guys are feeling this failure, when you guys are feeling all these decisions starting to come back at you, as the time that you should abandon your goal. Because sometimes you don't need to quit trading, and you need to quit revenge trading. Stop believing that another account is going to save you. Don't think that one good month is going to fix months of bad habits. That was the trader that I had to leave behind, and I'm asking you guys today to leave that trader behind because your breakthrough is closer than you think.